that time of the year again. It's that time to separate the men from the boys. And I will say, in the first 2 rounds of the NCAA Tournament, the Orange really did separate the men from the boys, or I should say, Bears. Let's take a look at this Yerson first 2 games for the Orange, shall we? After their nice little run through the Big East Tournament, where the Orange kind of shook off some of the critics who said, oh, they're going to fall flat on their face, going all the way to the title game before running out of gas to Louisville. The NCAA Tournament Committee decided to put them in the East region as the number 4 seed, where they would take on the 13th seed, the champions of the Big Sky Conference, Montana. And of course, 16 years ago, the Orange took on the Big Sky champions back then, Montana State. And of course, everybody remembers what happened. After beating Montana State, they went all the way to the title game, only to lose to Kentucky there in East Rutherford, New Jersey. But let's get back to the present, shall we? It was going to be a Yerson first couple games. Of course, this Yerson game was against a team I thought that would give the Orange problems, because the Grizzlies had a couple of pretty good players that I thought would exploit Syracuse's weakness. But boy, did Montana show that they were the ones who were outclassed. Boy, those Big Sky champions had nothing on the Orange. Boy, the Orange rolled to a pretty easy and pretty convincing victory against those Bears, or I should say boys. A big 81-34 thumping of the Grizzlies. Our most lopsided win in the NCAA Tournament since we beat Brown by nearly 50 points back in 1986. Of course, the next game, David Robinson and Navy took out the Pearl and the Orange. But of course, we were going from this Urson bunch to the next Urson bunch. We went from the Grizzlies to the Golden Bears, who were pretty convincing in their opening round win. And the thing is, this almost amounted to a home game for California. Because I want to tell you, this was the misnomer of how the NCAA committee set this up. We're in the East region, but guess where our first and second games were? Out in San Jose, California. Something a little wrong there. Are they a little geographically challenged? It's like what happened if a census taker asked you where you were born. Where were you born? Oh, we're from the South. The South, yeah, where? Montreal, Canada. Of course, that doesn't compare to the answer I gave one census taker. Where were you born, Mr. Haas? In the hospital. In the hospital? Yeah, I wanted to be near my mother. Let's get back to the real thing, shall we? Of course, this Urson bunch of Bears, which came from Berkeley, which is only 40 miles from San Jose, which is about the distance from Seneca Falls to Syracuse, meaning amounting to pretty much a home game. These were a pesky bunch of Golden Bears. You know, Syracuse didn't have that killer instinct, it seems. Of course, California made Syracuse go to the free throw line an almost record number of times. And of course, Syracuse had to show that at times they still lacked the prowess from the free throw line. And you know, they let the Golden Bears hang on and hang on. And I thought, oh hell, they're going to pull off the upset. But this Golden Bear team got close, but not close enough. Syracuse managed to eke out a 66-60 victory over the Golden Bears. And now we're on to the Sweet 16, and we're coming back east to where this thing should be if we're in the East region. Actually, we're going to the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. But guess who our opponent is in the Sweet 16? A team we have a pretty big history with. Indiana. a team that has had a dark period ever since Bobby Knight was let go. But this new coach has brought Indiana back to its glory time atop the college basketball world. This Indiana team is pretty loaded, although I will say it took a 3-point shot to beat the Owls, and I was hoping that it would be Temple playing the Orange. I would have loved the rematch. I would have loved for those Philly boys to get what they deserved after sending Syracuse to their first loss of the season. But you know, everybody remembers what happened 26 years ago down in New Orleans. If only DC had made those free throws, then Keith Smart wouldn't have been open to sink that basket that tore out the hearts of Orange Nation back 26 years ago. Well, it's Syracuse and Indiana this go around in the NCAA Tournament. Pardon me. But I mean, if we get past Indiana, we could have our good friends from Marquette, our what will be our former conference mates after this year, or we could have our new conference mates as our opponent in the Elite Eight if we make it that far. Miami is having one superb year, and who'd have thunk that the U was going to become a basketball power. Of course, everybody remembers the U for their glory days on the gridiron, which seem long past now. Well, we'll tell you, the U is trying to get their ways back to the top of the football world, but hopefully other teams like the Orange won't let that happen. Of course, everybody knows the U had a lot of convicts on their team, but the Catholics made sure that the convicts didn't win. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're on an impressive run right now. Let's go Orange. Let's beat the Hoosiers, and let's hopefully get past either the Hurricanes or the Eagles, be it which one it is. And talking about Eagles, how about that team from the other side of Florida than Miami? Who'd have thunk in their second year of major college basketball that the team from Florida Gulf Coast University would be doing as good as they are? But the thing is, looking at these kids, it's obvious to see why they become favorites. They play as if they're on the playground. They're having fun. Heck, you even see them doing the funky chicken. Who'd have thunk that these players knew a 60s dance move? Of course, are they going to do the hustle, or are they going to do the jerk, or are they going to do the hop? Well, of course, that's a 50s dance move. But let's take a look at Florida Gulf Coast University a little bit. Heck, they stunned everyone by knocking out Georgetown, and then they knocked out San Diego State. And I mean, this school has only been around for 22 years. What started out as little cubicles there in Fort Myers, Florida, they now are a campus with pristine dorm rooms, and also their dorm rooms and their study areas are right on the beach. And this school has a full-time masseuse. And heck, Andy Enfield, the coach there for Florida Gulf Coast University, his wife is a model who posed for Maxim, or I should say was a model. Oh, must be nice. I wonder where students are going to go. Where do you want to go? Florida Gulf Coast University. Of course, I kind of wonder what the curriculum there is at Florida Gulf Coast University. Suntan Lotion Application 101. That probably is a course. Oh, what do you want to do? Now you spread the suntan lotion on nice and evenly. You spread it on here. You get a nice fine coating so the sun could turn your skin real tan looking. Yeah, set yourself up for skin cancer down the line. Of course, if you graduate with a degree in suntan lotion application, I hope you're female. Imagine if a male did that. Hello, I'm a suntan lotion applicator engineer. can I rub a little of this on your body? And you know what I'd say to him? Yeah, you just try it if you want a spontaneous nose job. Well, of course, if it was a woman, I'd be like, nah, yeah. Well, that's a nice run, but I kind of wonder if Big Brother is going to take him out in the Sweet 16. Florida Gulf Coast's next opponent are the Gators up there in Gainesville. Billy Donovan always has those Gators humming. You gotta wonder if these Gators are gonna take down these Eagles. But hey, it's fun watching these Eagles from Florida Gulf Coast play. They're playing as if they're on the playground. Imagine if this team existed back 27 years ago. The way he was a playground legend, you gotta wonder if the Pearl might have not gone to Syracuse and gone to Florida Gulf Coast. But hey, they didn't exist back then, and we're sure darn glad the Pearl came to the Orange. Me and thousands of others are grateful for that. Thank you, Pearl, for not going south. And as I close this broadcast, I'm going to talk about the most dominant player in the women's basketball. I'm talking about Brittany Griner from Baylor. Baylor sailed through their first round game against Prairie View in the women's NCAA tournament. And I should say, the Orange are still winless in the women's NCAA tournament. Creighton knocked them out. But I mean, what about this Griner? She can dunk the basketball, and she is dominant playing for Kim Mulkey and the Baylor Bears. But you gotta wonder, you hear her talk, you see how she can dunk the ball. You gotta wonder if there isn't some testosterone working in that woman's body. You hear her talk? Heck, she sounds like a female Sylvester Stallone. But the thing is, no one can do Sylvester Stallone as good as me. She's gotta get that thing down, I hope she doesn't have a female friend with a name like my wife. Yo, Adrian! And that's how I'm gonna close this game. Here we go. Hopefully we're on to the Final Four, Orange fans. Get past Indiana and get past either Marquette or Miami, whoever it is in the Elite Eight. Keep it going, Orange. You're doing a good job. I'm Ken Haas. That's my story. Yo, Adrian!